Okay, so if you were a plumber, it wouldn't matter how good you are at fixing a pipe. You need certain tools in order to do the job. So you wouldn't be able to unscrew a very tight screw without a wrench or a screwdriver. You wouldn't be able to weld pipes without a welder. So it's the same with this. You could be the smartest person on the planet, but if you don't know the trig formulas, or the identities, you aren't going to be able to work anything out. So that's why I just want to go through the different trig things that you need to know. Okay, so the first one is the basic. Let's just get that blue. When we look at a basic right angle triangle. Where we have the hypotenuse is alongside. If we're talking about it in an angle theta, then the adjacent is an A and the opposite is an O. So this O and this A depend on which of these two angles you're dealing with. So if this was to be your theta, then suddenly your opposite becomes this one and your adjacent becomes this one. So you have to look at which angle you're trying to work out to know which is the adjacent and which is the opposite. So these are interchangeable. So the first thing we learned was that rhyme, SOH CAH TOA, or our teacher used to say, some old hippie caught another hippie tripping on acid. Sine theta, cos theta, and tan theta. So I think you did this probably in grade 10, maybe even 9. So we won't go too far through it, but so let's do opposite. What I want to do is just change the color of this. Okay. So opposite would be some old hippie. So some old hippie called another hippie. Okay, and so if we were looking at sine theta with the red, then suddenly the opposite becomes the red. So sine of the red is equal to the adjacent of the blue one. So that's where we get the formula. Because these two are interchangeable, and if this here is 90 degrees, then this plus this is 90. And so that's where we get the next part, which is sine 90 minus theta equals cos theta. And cos 90 minus theta equals sine theta. So that's where this comes from, is from the fact that your opposite and adjacent is depending on the angle, and these are supplementary angles, complementary angles, meaning they add up to 90 degrees. So we could take this right angle triangle formula a little bit further, and we could put it onto a Cartesian plane. Okay, so I take that angle there, and if I drop a perpendicular from the point down to the x-axis, this has coordinates, this point here, of x and y. Okay. And we could think of this triangle as having an angle theta here. So in this, we see that the opposite is over here, and the adjacent is over here. Well, what we see is that from the origin to here is x, because if we drop the x down to here, we hit x. So we can see that this is x. It's just the value of x. And the opposite, in the same way, is just the value of y. And so sometimes what you do is you see these formulas as and the hypotenuse is still this blue line. Which they say is r, because if you think of this could be a circle, with this being the radius, instead of calling the hypotenuse. So they'll say when they talk about it on a Cartesian plane, that's why they use r's, x's, and y's. But it's exactly the same thing. R is just h, it's just being called something different. And so now opposite is actually, they'll say, is y, and h they'll say is r, and then the adjacent is x. So sometimes you'll see y over r, x over r, y over x, and it's just this triangle, but they take it to a Cartesian plane. And the reason they take it to a Cartesian plane is that they want to do a full 360 degree. They want to be able to cover any of the angles. So when you start doing functions, you'll be using this Cartesian plane to work out like your gradient of a line. And then if you have the gradient of a line, you can work out this angle. But we'll maybe go over that rather when we're in functions. But let's just look at this Cartesian plane quickly. So in this first quadrant, we call it theta, because everything is positive. You see x is positive and y is positive. And so this, they often will say A, meaning that everything is positive. Because if I have sine theta, cos theta, and tan theta, and it's y over r, it's always positive. Then this angle here, now say it wasn't in this first quadrant, say it was, the theta was in the second quadrant, and it was the same here. So what we do is this theta, if we were to find this angle here, it's 180 minus theta. So this quadrant, we have to just remember 180 minus theta. So this is just part of the stuff you have to remember. And if we look at x and y in this quadrant, we see that x is negative, but y is still positive because it's on the positive axis. So in this quadrant, we see that x is negative. So negative, this would be negative and this would be negative. So cos would be negative and tan would be negative, but sine would still be positive. And so that's where this S comes from. I'm not going to go through this one, but everything is negative here. And tan is negative over negative, which is a positive. So tan is the only thing that will be positive in this one. And then the final one with cos, the x is still positive in this quadrant here. So this would be cos. So this cast, when you see this cast diagram, basically what it means is cos is positive in this quadrant, sine in this quadrant, tan in this one, and then all positive in this first quadrant. If I was to draw this angle here, theta, this angle here is 180 plus theta. And then this one, a full circle is 360 degrees. So this is 360 minus theta. So this is just what you need to remember. We'll go into how we use this later. But just remember that you've got your cast diagram, your trig ratios, and your theta 180 minus theta 180 plus theta and 360 minus theta. And knowing these quadrants and learning this will help you a lot in your trigonometry. So I think next time what you do is go through your trig identities and your double angle formulas as part of the rest of this trigonometry toolbox.
Sounds great.